All right, today we are diving deep into something really different, a truly fascinating digital artifact. It's this strange mix of academic writing, mythic storytelling, and a very, very specific point of view. Let's try and figure out what it's all about. So, right off the bat, this is the title we're given from a digital publication called Bibebibebibe Magazine. It sounds super formal, doesn't it? Structured Multiversal Interactions. It's like something you'd read in a corporate memo or scientific journal. What in the world is that? Well, that's exactly what we're here to unpack. Okay, to get our heads around this thing, we need a roadmap. So here's how we'll do it. First, we'll figure out what SMI even is. Then we'll look at the core documents, explore the wild fictional world it supposedly comes from, dive into the actual story at its heart, and finally, we'll ask the big question, what is the point of all this? So, first things first, let's just try to decode the central concept here. What is Structured Multiversal Interactions, or SMI, actually trying to be? What's the big idea? The source itself gives us this amazing term for it, a mythic scientific framework. Think about that for a second. This isn't just a story, and it's definitely not some dry academic paper. It's trying to be both at the exact same time. A living, breathing story that's also built with the kind of rigor and logic you'd expect from a scientific system. And this slide really nails that tension at its core. On one side, you have the mythic part. It's a narrative, it's a living canon, it's cinematic. But on the other side, you've got the scientific part. It's a framework, it's archived, so it won't change. And get this, it's DOI anchored. That means every piece has a digital object identifier, just like a real academic paper. It's anchoring this wild mythic story in a system of formal, citable facts. How cool is that? Okay, so how do you actually build a framework like this? Well, that scientific side isn't just a vibe, it's for real. The whole thing is built on a foundation of 4 very specific documents, which the source calls the 4 publications. And that's the key right there. This huge, sprawling concept is held up by just 4 core texts. That makes the whole framework idea feel so much more concrete, you know? It's not some infinite library of lore. It's a very specific, curated set of ideas. And here they are. Just look at these titles. Clarification Document, The Reality Level Analyzer, Foundational Framework. They sound like technical manuals or maybe supplements to a physics textbook. This totally reinforces that scientific identity we were just talking about, giving the entire project this air of real legitimacy and structure. All right, so we've got a mythic scientific framework built on 4 academic-sounding papers. But the next question is obvious. Where did these things supposedly come from? Well, this is where the world building gets really, really fun. According to the source, these documents are certified by the Cosmic University of Echo Rift Studies IX. And just like that, boom, we're not just dealing with an idea anymore, we are in a fictional universe. It's a brilliant move, weaving the lore directly into the presentation of the scientific stuff. And of course, this university has a founder, a Dr. Melvin Sewell, who's listed as the academic dean and, get this, diagnostic architect. By giving the whole project a creator and one with a bunch of fancy credentials, it grounds this really abstract concept in a specific, personal voice. It just adds another layer to that pseudo-academic feel. So now we've got the framework, and we've got its fictional home. Let's start peeling back those layers. What's the actual mythic or cinematic story at the heart of SMI? Well, it all revolves around a character named Saikou Venga. The story is told in 8 super short chapters. So our hero, Saikou Venga, he just appears out of a cosmic rift. Pretty quickly, he figures out using his analyzer HUD that reality is basically collapsing. Then he's hunted by these bizarre multiversal threats, only to discover the horrible truth. He's the one causing it all. He's the anomaly. And it all ends with him just standing there, defiant against everything. This one line from chapter 3 just perfectly captures the mood. It's short, it's urgent, and it mashes up this technical-sounding jargon like coherence and collapse probability with that raw, simple feeling of danger approaching. This is that mythic scientific blend in action right there. So in chapter 4, Saikou performs this 5-stage ritual. And again, just look at the language. It mixes these mystical ideas like resonance and intent with what sound like engineering terms. Geometry, correction, and the deployment of the slip flow edge. That sounds less like casting a spell and more like activating some kind of high-tech tool. It's a magic system that reads like a technical manual. And the things that are hunting him, they are just as specific and weird. We're not talking about generic monsters here. We've got counterflow mimics, which sounds like they mess with patterns, coherence predators, who literally eat the stability of reality, and null flow pockets, just voids of nothing. These things sound less like fantasy creatures and more like weaponized physics problems. And this is the gut punch of the entire story, the huge reveal in Chapter 7. After fighting all of these external monsters, Saikou Venga realizes the problem isn't out there. It's him. He is the thing breaking reality. I mean, what a classic, tragic hero setup. Okay, so we have the scientific framework and we have the mythic story. But why? Why put them together like this? What is the ultimate point of all this? Well, there's a sovereign diagnostic disclaimer included in the source material, and it gives us a massive clue. The project actually calls itself Mythic Infrastructure, and its stated purpose is to be a cinematic indictment and a sovereign broadcast. And what is it trying to expose? In its own words, ritualized containment and systemic erosion. So it really seems like the creator is using this incredibly complex fantasy world as an allegory, a tool to diagnose what they see as major problems in our own world. And that brings us full circle, right back to Saikou Venga's final line. He knows he's the anomaly. He knows he's the cause of the collapse, but he doesn't give up. He stands there, defiant. This powerful line seems to capture the entire spirit of the project. A resilient, defiant broadcast against what it sees as forces of control and suppression. So, at the end of the day, what do we make of all this? What is structured multiversal interactions? Is it just a really complex backstory for a cool character? Is it some new philosophical system hiding inside a fictional story? Or is it exactly what that disclaimer says it is? A sovereign broadcast, a warning about control and decay. The material itself doesn't give us an easy answer. And, maybe that's the whole point.